More states are pledging to send National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. Tennessee is the latest to announce 160 guardsmen will head to the district. 6 Republican-led states are now committing soldiers to the crackdown. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now. And Scott, the White House has said these troops may be armed. What impact are National Guard troops having on the ground right now?
At this moment in time, the Guard members are not carrying their firearms. If you see them outside, as we have all day today, they have the zip ties publicly displayed, but not any firearms. And they're not making arrests right now, which begs the question, what to do with all the reinforcements that are coming? You mentioned there are 6 states. A CBS News review of the numbers of those deployed shows there are nearly going to be 2,000 Guard troops as part of this effort, in addition to the federalized police department and the federal agents who've joined in street patrols and street posts. It's an awful lot of military in a very compact area without a clear arrest mission or function that is directly leading to arrests. Those are the 6 states that have joined the District of Columbia. Nicole, it's just a lot of bodies, and the mayor is saying, we could use extra police. We don't need troops.
So what happens next?
A couple different things. Well, first of all, the clock ticks. There is a 30-day limit on this entire initiative, the federalization of the Washington, D.C. Police Department. The National Guard is at the direction of the Republican governors, and the D.C. Guard is at the direction of the President of the United States. That could be expanded beyond 30 days, but Congress would have to approve an extension of the federalization. That seems unlikely to be charitable. But also, the White House has left open the possibility that these National Guard members could eventually be carrying, eventually be making arrests. That could change in the coming days, and that would almost certainly inflame tensions that are already growing over the militarization of an American community.
We know the White House has released some new numbers about the number of arrests that have been made in the city. They are touting this operation so far as a success. What are we learning from those latest statistics?
The data on arrests that have been released publicly by the White House and by the Trump administration seem symmetrical with a traditional tonnage of arrests you get in a major American city, including Washington, D.C., before this emergency takeover. Where are the arrests coming? Well, they're spread out throughout the community, all different quadrants of Washington, D.C. There's criticism that there's not visible deployment of troops, the National Guard troops, and not visible deployment of federal agents in some of the neighborhoods where crime has been more pernicious. The northeast and southeast parts of Washington, D.C. have a history of crime spikes, and though those data show a 48% non-immigration arrest rate in wards 7 and 8 in the southeast and northeast corners of Washington, people who live there, speaking with CBS News, with whom we've spent time, say they're not seeing the federal deployment there, leaving open the possibility, Nicole, the White House is counting the traditional arrests the D.C. police make each day in those neighborhoods as part of this federal effort.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, we know you've been on top of this story from start to finish, so we thank you so much for joining us.